welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am going to be making a dragon sculpture. So I've already made a few dragon sculptures, but most of them consist of sitting down dragons. Like I have made a big massive dragon, which I have got the tutorial, a complete tutorial on how I made that dragon, but he is huge. So I want to make like a smaller dragon, but I want to make him standing up as well. I have made a miniature version of the sitting down dragon. So I have this guy, which I haven't finished yet, but he's a sitting down dragon that looks exactly the same as the larger dragon. So I have that one. And I also have a lying down dragon. So this guy who's on a rock, who again is not finished. I have so many sculptures that are unfinished, it's unreal. I need to just get my head in the game and just finish them all. But this guy is a rock dragon, and he's just laying. He needs some wings on him and some spine on him, and then he'll be done. But this is a lying down one, and I have a sitting one. So now I actually want to start doing a standing dragon. By the way, quick thing about this guy, being on a rock is fun and all, but trying to post him because he's so heavy is a nightmare. So if you post your sculptures and you're not giving it to someone that's local, do not use rocks because they are heavy. Very heavy, and they will cost you a lot of money in postage, so don't do it. It's a bad idea. Now I'm going to do a standing dragon. I have done a standing dragon in the past. I've done this Spyro, which I like him. He's broken a little bit. This was a present to my partner, and his wings, he dropped him from a shelf and his wings snapped off and his horn snapped off. Not too badly, I fixed him with epoxy clay. But this is a standing dragon that I've done, and I wanted to make a dragon that was a little bit more dragony, because Spyro was cute and all, and I really like how compact he is, but I wanted a longer dragon. So I'm going to make a longer dragon, but I'm going to use Cynder from Spyro as the colour palette, so it's going to be a black dragon with hopefully purpley pink wings and purpley pink belly and, you know, silver horns and silver claws. I don't know. I'm going to see how it goes with every sculpture that I do. It's always like, let's just see how it goes. And then I'm going to just show you the process on how I make a standing small dragon that is a little bit longer and is not as compact as a Spyro sculpture. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and hopefully you learn something. Let's get on with the sculpture. So as always, I start with the armature. I do have a printable download for my patrons, so you can use the same armature template that I'm using. And so for bulking the armature, I just use normal kitchen foil and I tightly pack them around the wire. Be sure not to use too much, as your sculpture can look a bit bulky once you add the clay on top. So what you really just want to do is to make a very sort of thin outline of where you want the clay to go. So for example, I like to put quite a bit on the chest because I want the chest to be bigger than, say, the back side. So I have quite a bit of foil on the chest, which I know I'm going to build up, but just don't put too much foil on so that you find that when you put the clay on it looks a lot thicker. With the legs, sometimes I don't even put foil on the bottom of the legs. I'll just put masking tape, because again I want the legs to be quite thin, and if I put a big thick layer of foil on the legs, you'll find that they'll have big thick legs, which if that's what you want, you can have that, but I don't want that for this dragon, so that's how I do the legs. So masking tape is the final thing that I use, and this helps to keep the foil in place as well, so when you are putting clay on there, it doesn't sort of fall off. Sometimes if you build up the foil and you need to put it, you know, need to add bits here and there, sometimes it can just pop off. So if you put some masking tape on it, it does sort of just condense everything in and just keeps hold of it before you put the clay on. And then also, just to let you know as well, I've been baking these sculptures for years with the same method, and I've never found any issue with putting masking tape in the oven, so I've never found that it's set on fire or anything like that. Of course, just make sure that you do keep an eye on it when you are cooking your sculptures, but I've never actually found any issues in regards to having masking tape on the armature. Make sure the masking tape that you use as well is quite sticky. That's another thing that I've used. I got really cheap masking tape for the first couple of sculptures, and it's awful because it just pops off. It just does not stick to the foil. So you do want to use quite a sticky, like a very sticky masking tape for it. So you don't really want to use painter's masking tape because that doesn't tend to stick. You really do want a sticky masking tape. We spent like 40 minutes on this leg and it's still not right. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's the armature's coming through. Like you can't really see it. I don't know. Hang on, let me put it on autofocus. Let's see if that'll work. Right, let's have a look. Focus it. Is it focusing? Come on. It's like this leg, right? And there's like a little bit just there, and I cannot cover it no matter how many times I smooth it. It just won't do it. Oh my gosh. Like 40 minutes just to do the leg. He's had so many different leg ways and which ways to do it. I think I'm just gonna bake him and then go over it with some clay after it's baked, because it's not happening. And I think when you get to this point, when you're doing sculptures, you can keep doing it for like infinity and just get annoyed with it. So I'm gonna just bake it as it is. I'm gonna smooth it out, bake it, and then try again, because this is really getting on my nerves. And what I'll do his feet as well. I'm gonna do his little clawy feet, and then I'll bake him. So when I start adding the clay to the sculpture, a lot of the times I'll put sort of a layer of Sculpey liquid or Fimo liquid on there just to help that clay stick to the masking tape, and then I put it through the pasta machine to condition it, and also to have it as a level 2 thickness. So I'll have like a big sheet of clay on my chopping board, and it'll be probably level 2 thickness, and then I'll just cut it into strips. And then I'll just put the first layer on the masking tape, and I'll sort of squish it into the masking tape to get that really thin sort of first layer. Don't worry too much about this layer looking bumpy. This is just to cover the armature, and then you can build on top of it with raw clay. So if you put the first layer of this raw clay on there, it kind of condenses everything again and keeps the masking tape all sort of connected. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a lot easier to build up from a sort of sculpture that's had that layer of clay on than trying to build up details on masking tape straight away. These eyes are so good. I love them so much. They're called capuchin eyes. I think it's called capuchin eyes. And you can buy a load of them from Amazon and eBay. That's where I get mine from. And they come in all sorts of different colours. And you can have sort of reptile ones, dragon ones, cat ones, human ones. There's all different ones that you can get. And I love that there's a capuchin sort of dome because it reminds me of like a lens of an eyeball. So I really like that effect. And for these ones, I found ones that were pink. So they'd go really well with the pink and black theme that I'm wanting for this dragon as well. So I'm really happy with these. Sometimes you can get some and the eye sort of design in them isn't printed very well. So I have had a few of those. And with those, I just pick the back off and then I'd make my own eyeballs. But a lot of them, if their print quality is good, they look very nice. I do like them. I really like the effect that they have, especially with the dragons as well. So this for the scales, for this kind of scale detail on the dragon, what I use is it's a wire mesh. So you can buy this from eBay and you can buy sheets of this wire mesh. But I actually buy a big massive roll of it, and so it's basically I think it was like rat protection. And so you can just get a massive roll of it that's supposed to be used for, stopping rats from getting into places. Because I used to just buy them in sheets as like artistic sheets, and they used to be quite expensive, but I could get a roll for it for a lot less. So definitely have that. But watch out though, if you do, you can cut it with scissors. It's very easy to cut, but be very careful because any of the edges, they are very, very sharp and they will slice you. So just be careful with that. So I was struggling to think of what tail I wanted for the dragon. I didn't know if I wanted sort of like a spike or I don't know what it was, but for some reason I just wanted to settle on the kind of fairy sort of look on there, like a fluffy kind of tail, much like a lion's. With this though, with the tail, what I did was I sort of had it so that the tail was kind of floating, so it wasn't actually touching the floor even with the fur, but the sculpture wasn't stable enough, so I pretty much just sort of broke the tail to push it down on so that the fur was touching the floor, and then I just filled the crack in with more clay and just fix that up. You can fix things quite easily with this, so don't be afraid to sort of, rag it about and break limbs if you need to, because in the end it will be better, because again, this dragon was not balanced at all. It was just falling over. So I just broke his tail, put it against the floor, and he's much better. He's balanced now. So a little bit of fixing and he's done. For the spine, I took some clay and run 2 pieces through my pasta machine, and I think I did it on number 2 thickness, and then what I did was I put them on top of each other and gave them a little bit of a roll with the roller to sort of get them to stick together. I added in some mica powder just to give it a little bit of shine, and then I had this really cute little star confetti, so I just added them onto it. So when you put the star confetti on, give it a little bit of a push into the clay. If you don't, they'll just fall off when you bake it. So you can either push it into the clay a little bit, or you can use a little bit of sculpted liquid just to sort of stick them on, because if you don't do that, they will just fall off. And then to put the spine onto the body, I just used the sculpted liquid again, and then I sort of manoeuvred the spine to go on there, and then I made little ones just so it sort of went in size order down the body and down the tail as well. So that's it, everything is done, he's complete. I'm so happy with the final result. I thought it wasn't going to look that well when I first made it, but I'm so happy with how it's looked. And I love the colour scheme. I'm so glad I went for these colours. I know it was meant to be Cynder kind of colours with silver and all that kind of stuff, but I like how it's turned out. I don't know why I didn't keep going with that, but it has been a while since I done the beginning of the video. Again, with like a lot of my sculptures, I started a lot of these videos a long time ago, and so it's been a while. It's been a while, but it's finally complete. Or she, I don't know what to call it, and I don't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl or neither. I don't know. Put your suggestions in the comments if you want to name this dragon. I don't know what to call it, to be honest, but I'm so happy that I've made a standing dragon. But I'm so bummed out that I didn't make a mould halfway through. I was like, you know, before the wings and the tail, I was like, maybe I should just make a mould of this so I can make loads more of these of different colours, because sculpting from start to finish with an armature and everything like that takes forever. Whereas if you have a mould of just the body and the face, you can kind of, it doesn't take as long to make the wings and everything like that. So I'm a bit sad about that. I do wish I kind of made a mould now. It would have taken a lot longer though. So maybe I might make another dragon specifically to make a mould from. But yeah, I'm so happy with how this has turned out, and the spokes and the spine and the tail, the fluffy tail. I like the fluffy tail. If you've learned anything from this, I'd love to see your creations. Also, this dragon's going to be for sale in my Etsy store if you wanted to have a look at there as well. And also for the full length video of the full tutorial, I have that up on my Patreon as well. You'll also have a download of the armature, so you can just follow along with that if you want to. That's all available on my Patreon. But yeah, so that's what I've done for the YouTube, and I like it. I don't want to get rid of it. Maybe I might just keep it, maybe. But yeah, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like or a comment in the section below, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye guys. Just want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons, Django Fox and Marcus Storza. Hope I've got your name correct. Just want to say thank you for your continued support.